I'm Jill, and today I'm gonna present to you my DevOps case study. So what are we gonna do today? First, I'm gonna explain you why I have chosen for this case study. And I will also give you some more information about Contentful itself. Then we will take a look at our documentation and of course our code editor. There I will also explain to you the differences between all the files that I used in my .NET Core project. After that I will show you the final results and then we will wrap everything up with a conclusion. So I'm choosing for case study 6. This because I love making web applications and love to be creative with text and pictures. I have some experience with WordPress, so that's why I don't want to miss out on this case study. I think it's really interesting and learnful to work with another content management system and check out the advantages and the disadvantages. I also love playing with designs, so I will definitely try to create an amazing looking web application and will try to earn some extra points with this. But what is Contentful now? It's of course a CMS or content management system, and it's a bit like WordPress but also very different. It's really easy to set up and it also has a free tier, so you can test it out and learn to work with it. So what am I gonna build today? I think it would be really nice to make a web application to manage website statistics. This is because it's really difficult nowadays for a non-technical customer to easily manage and check on a simple website for like small businesses. There are so many platforms out there and I want to create an easy, cheap and future-friendly application to manage multiple websites. And also because the slogan of Contentful is future-friendly content, I think it's a really applicable project.
Hi and welcome in my document. I thought it was really nice to go over it a bit, so it's maybe a bit more clear why I chose for this structure. So my whole project is about keeping it simple and easy for the user. So that's why I just made a very clear table of contents, and I started off with what's in this document so they know what they can find here, and then a preface that explains what this project is about. So if you see like in the table of contents, I really structured this document on a step-by-step base. So we see like first we are creating the project, then we see how we need to connect Contentful. Also if I encountered an error, I also made a whole chapter about it, and then fixing the error in the next chapter. So it's really like a timeline a bit. So that means when we want to create this project another time, we can just use the document and like start from chapter 1 and go to chapter 8. But because we only have 10 minutes, let's just open VS Code and I will show you how we can start up the program, and then I will explain you some more about it when we are in the file. We'll just open VS Code and then we can see here the web manage is the project I'm talking about. So if we go to the program CS, this is honestly a whole story because in the tutorial they used .NET 3.1. I could just have used .NET 3.1, but I thought it was a really nice challenge to make it with the newest .NET. The difference is before we had a startup.cs, and then in the program CS we like linked to the startup CS to say like there is our configuration, but that's not anymore. Now it's all in program CS. They did it because it's much more cleaner, but the big advantage is that now we don't really need to create like methods for it, for the services. And before we needed a lot of unnecessary code and it wasn't really flexible. So that's like how it looked before. We had like a public void configure services, and there we will add our Contentful configuration. This was mandatory, so we couldn't change like the public voids or anything. And now we can do like everything with it. But it was a bit like experimenting with it because now we have like a variable builder, and then we can add the services. And we do this by builder.services.add Contentful and then our builder configuration. So that's an important thing to remember. So that's like our program CS. And then in app settings, we will use our API key. So that's where the credentials are. Then we see our CSS file, but I will go over it later. So let's put it there. And then also the JavaScript file, but I will do it together with the HTML file. And here we can also see our favicon. And so if we close this up, then we have our views, and that's really important because our home view, that's our like home index HTML file, and we of course need to implement at using contentful core models. And then we can add the model from our class we used before. So we see like we just created a body with a gray background, and then all the rest we can use our objects we created in Contentful, and we created some tiles with it. But if I show you the website, then it will be a bit more clear. And then the shared, that's where we can find the layout, and that is the default layout from .NET, but we can just comment it out because we will use our own HTML code. And then our models, that's really interesting, but I will also open controllers, the home controller. So here we can see we created a private read-only from iContentful client, and we will put it together with the logger, and that means that we can create a method like in index, and then we can pass the data. We will name it user data to our HTML page. So the client gets the entries from the one website in Contentful itself, and then it will put it in user data and return it to our view. And that means it's accessible in our HTML file. But first we also need to create a class, one website, and then we will get the username and the profile picture from it. So that means if we open the web browser, go to Contentful, then we can just go to content modal, and then we see our username and our profile picture. So if we get the content, and we see like Gilles is the username and that's the profile picture. And that is because this of course changes with every user, so it's really flexible, and that's all we like styled a bit in CSS. So if we like open the website with .NET Run, then we see it's online, and if we open it, we see like this. And then we can easily look at our performance, our notifications, and our users. You can also see like it has a nice animation with it. So that's like our control center. And then below we can find the articles like how to update, get better SEO ranking. So that's just a blog or something where the website can put like important information. And then if you click on it, it can go to like an external source or something else. And then you can also see there is like a bit of blur going on. So if we swipe, like there is a blur, and that's because in the GS file we can see like if the page is on it, then the animation will start. And then of course we cannot forget the GitHub Actions part. So if we go to our project, then we can go to the Actions tab, and then we see like all the pull requests we did. So if we go to like our code editor, and then we do our final push, then we see it will automatically create an action and test it out if everything works. And this way we can like specify our OS system, so like we want to test it on Windows or on Linux, and which .NET version we want to try. So that's really nice to like see if everything works, and we can also easily see like there is a problem and we need to debug it there. So now we see it's like running. And yes, it succeeded in 35 seconds. And let's move to Contentful now and check out like what happens if we like change the content. Change the username here to like admin in Contentful. And then if we publish the changes, then it will change here. So that's about it. I hope you find it really nice, and let's go over to the conclusion now.
So to conclude, I can definitely say that I learned a lot from this project. Sometimes it was very challenging because I tried it the hard way and didn't use .NET 3.1 like they used in the tutorial. I just challenged myself and tried it with the newest .NET, so I needed to merge some files. And that was so difficult because there was no tutorial or any information online. So I just tried everything and used my brain until it worked. Overall, very nice project and challenging. Bye.